Well, ladies and gentlemen, the assault on Western civilization and our traditions and our nuclear families continues, this time in Colorado, United States. Hello, my name is Andrew from the Morning Hash, and just a quick video for you today. Per Breitbart, this is published April 1st by Catherine Hamilton. Colorado bill would classify misgendering, dead naming as child abuse, impact parental rights, and custody cases. Colorado Democrats are proposing a bill that would classify misgendering and dead naming as forms of child abuse or coercive control that would be considered in child custody disputes. The bill, HB 25-1312, was introduced on Friday and is set to go before the House Judiciary Committee on Tuesday. The bill's sponsors are Democratic Representatives Lorena Garcia, Rebecca Stewart Faith Winter, and Senator Chris Kolker. Here is Lorena Garcia, the primary sponsor, the crazy cat lady. I looked into her a little bit. I went to her about on her webpage, and I couldn't really find anything indicating that she has a family. Maybe she does, but I can't find it. So she doesn't have a family, so she's not invested in the future, so she doesn't care if children get harmed. That's fantastic. By the way, it already passed through the House Judiciary Committee with all 7 Democrats voting yay and all 4 Republicans voting nay. This is just the Judiciary Committee. It has not been codified into law yet, but it's going to the vote. So the bill subscribes to the false idea that one can identify as or become a different sex than they were born as, often called gender identity. The bill defines dead name as to purposefully and with the intent to disregard the individual's gender identity or gender expression, refer to an individual by their birth name rather than their chosen name. The bill defines misgender as to purposefully and with the intent to disregard the individual's gender identity or gender expression, refer to an individual using an honorific or pronoun that conflicts with the individual's gender identity or gender expression. According to the bill's summary, the legislation would direct courts making child custody decisions and determining the best interests of a child for purposes of parenting time to consider dead naming, misgendering, or threatening to publish material related to an individual sex change services as types of coercive control. So, mom and dad have a kid, little Billy, 7 years old. They disagree on the transgender ideology. They get a divorce. Mom says, I fully support little Billy becoming little Sally at 7 years old and chopping off his pee-pee and all that. And dad says, that's insane. You are a crazy person. Little Billy is 7. He has no idea what he's talking about because he's a kid. And he can't make these life-altering, legally binding decisions because he's a kid. I will not call him little Sally. The court can point at dad and say, that's child abuse. I will not allow you to abuse that child. I'm giving full custody to mom. That's what is happening here. And by the way, if you want the evidence that it harms kids and doesn't help, per LifeSite News, this is an Oxford study finds transgender surgery increases depression and suicide ideation rates. Okay, there is all sorts of evidence coming out of the woodwork now that shows how terrible this is for everyone. And there's no evidence that shows that, air quotes, gender-affirming care actually helps anyone. And by the way, as I just said, that we don't let children make these decisions because they don't know what they're doing. This per the Daily Mail, most gender-confused children will grow out of it, a landmark 15-year study concludes. As critics say, it shows being trans is usually just a phase for kids. Researchers in the Netherlands tracked more than 2,700 children from age 11 to their mid-20s, asking them every 3 years of feelings about their gender. Results showed at the start of the research around 1 in 10, or 11%, expressed gender non-contentedness to varying degrees. But by age 25, just 1 in 25, or 4%, said they often or sometimes were discontent with their gender. It's a phase. It is a phase for awkward kids, right? And the globalist DEI agenda sees this and they say, well, we can take advantage of this. We can turn these kids into all sorts of LGBTQIA plus whatevers. And if you disagree with it, that's child abuse. per the state, per people like Lorena Garcia, who on the House floor was crying when ICE arrested an illegal alien criminal, and whose NGOs have accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars in support of illegal aliens invading the United States and in support of sanctuary cities. But, oh, what else is there? The bill would additionally define dead naming and misgendering as discriminatory acts in the Colorado Anti-Discrimination Act, which would essentially prohibit calling sex-confused individuals by their real names or biological sex in places of public accommodation. So, they're coming after your free speech as well. They're coming after your kids and your families. They're coming after your free speech. And remember that Colorado, this is Jack Phillips. This is a man of the Christian faith who owns a bakery, and he declined to make a wedding cake for a gay couple, and this guy has been dragged through the mud and through court for, it says here, 12 years now of legal persecution because he wanted to exercise his religious freedom. So in Colorado, you have no right to your religious freedom, right? And now this is, the Colorado Supreme Court dismissed this case against him. This is per October 2024, but it never should have made it this far. This guy has gone through this for 12 years now. So the people in Colorado hate your religious freedom. They hate your freedom of speech. They hate your family, and they're coming for your kids. Why would you live in Colorado? There's one more thing I wanted to show. This is per the Post-Millennial. Trans kids are prescribed more antipsychotic meds after beginning gender transition than before. All the evidence in the world that it harms kids. No evidence to show that it helps them. None. It destroys them. And if we can't protect our kids, we don't have a future. If we refuse to protect our kids, we don't deserve a future. Okay, it's important that we talk about this and we point at and we shame the people who support this stuff because they are monsters. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for right now. If you like what you heard, please hit the like and subscribe, and I will talk to you later. Have a wonderful day. Bye.